Hello, everybody. Welcome to Missouri Traffic Experience. I'm your host, Ben Harrison, and today, with me, we have Ben Mobley. I'm like, hey, what's up, hello? Cale Owens.
That's what they call me.
Tommy Byrne.
That's me.
And the ghost of Anne Frank. Today, we're gonna be talking. Yep.
Talking's what I like to do, but more specifically today, we're thinking we're going to go for a more cinematic approach. By that I mean the cinema. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're talking movies.
No way.
Oh, yes way. It's the movies episode. So we have taken some time to come up with a few films that might interest you. We're going to talk about them today. Ty, you want to get us kicked off?
I suppose I could do such a task. Suppose I could carry out such a command. So one movie that I'm a particular fan of is the film, the
Fortnite movie,
Spider-Man.
visual collection,
SAO.
the visual experience. Not the Fortnite movie. I know that's what you thought. Fortnite movie 1, 2. Those are both great. But actually,
Classics
the
of their
movie
time.
I particularly enjoy is
We're waiting for the build-up.
I'm gonna like edit in a drum roll.
Cue the drum.
Tommy's thinking right now.
Cue the drum.
You know what movie I really like? I really like The Iron Giant.
Yeah, we know.
I like the
pretty
Iron
good.
Giant. I've only seen the Iron Giant once, and it was. I liked it. I don't. Usually, a lot of the animated movies aren't quite my shtick, but
Anime?
No, just
Animated.
animated movies, animated
I
films.
thought you said anime for a second.
Yeah.
So it kind of lost some points with me there, but even then, it was still. It was a good one. I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's very well known as well.
Yeah. I think the animation style was really cool. I also like. I just like how they did like that era of history, like with the Cold War and such.
Yeah, it had some good 3D type animation effects for its time as well.
Was it 3D? I think it was 2D.
It wasn't 3D, it was 2D, but it had
It was
some
a mix,
3D
I mean.
elements, like the giant himself.
Oh yeah, I think that giant was CG. Yeah.
It's like Initial D, but instead of cars, it's a big
It's
robot.
big robot.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like absolutely atrocious. Have you seen the Initial D cars? They're so bad.
Yeah, I've watched Initial D.
You
It's
haven't watched
terrible.
all of, I know. It gets a little bit better, but
I mean, I assume.
yeah.
If it doesn't get better, I'm gonna stop watching.
Yeah.
It's just terrible. It's so bad.
Yeah. But
you
yeah.
know what's a movie? Hold on. We watched like a year ago that I really like. David Bowie's Labyrinth. We've all seen that.
Oh,
I wasn't
Labyrinth,
paying
yeah.
attention like, at all.
That was a
I
movie
saw
I
Labyrinth.
watched with you guys, so I wanted to bring it up.
Yeah.
And I think it was just really fun watching David Bowie delight himself with and running around in spandex with a bunch of puppets.
I can't.
Because that was
remember
what the
David
movie pretty
Bowie.
much was. Like you could see like his wiener the whole time.
Yeah, I mean they went all out with the tightness of those
It was
those leggings.
that movie was really weird, but it was so creative. Like, and it was well thought out too. It wasn't like a bunch of people in the boardroom being like, all right, we're gonna have this, this, and this. Like you can go back and look at George Lucas's vision for that movie. It was crazy.
For what?
That's
Wait,
it.
did George Lucas make the Labyrinth?
I think he did.
Nah, you didn't make
Really?
Labyrinth.
No, he didn't.
I thought it was David Bowie exclusively because
David
that's
Bowie himself crafted
Wait,
it
hold
from
up.
the ground up.
I mean, it is
just
David
remember him
Bowie's
being part of
Labyrinth.
it. Yeah, wait.
I believe he had something to do with it.
Or did he
but I thought
play
that was,
himself in the? Do you think he
No,
played
it was
himself and
directed
he
by
actually
a Harry
lived in a
Jones.
big maze?
But it was directed by Jim Henson.
Oh,
Okay.
Jim Henson. Okay, yeah. I don't know.
I think the best
Screenplay
line
was
in the
by Harry
movie we've talked about the one where it's like I will make you a prince of the land
Prince
of
of the land
stench.
of-
If she ever kisses you, I'll turn you into a prince.
You will?
prince of the land of stench.
If you haven't seen Labyrinth, that's a
We
quintessential.
quoted that one a couple times.
Yeah,
That's a
I think
weird
I just
movie.
remember seeing like someone's sketches for that movie, and it just like being like super elaborate and like well thought out. It was really cool. But yeah,
Yeah, that's a
It's
late
movie-
night
it's a-
type of movie.
yeah, it's an.
That's the type of
Do
movie
you know
that.
would that movie have ever been popular without David Bowie?
Oh no, definitely
no,
not.
it would have been.
But it'd be so much more funny if it's just like a random guy.
Yeah,
Because then it'd be something like you have to like search for, and it's just like something you find.
It would be just
Yeah.
something really obscure if they didn't have the.
it would have
star
been
power
like
of
a
David
niche
Bowie.
following. Like
It
Star
probably
Wars.
would have been like another troll.
I would still
movie,
describe its following as fairly niche.
Yeah.
where it's like it'd be like famous for being bad, but I guess like
Yeah.
I mean it's not bad. It's just like really weird.
It's
Do you,
just bizarre.
do you think Star Wars is overhyped?
Yes.
I like the
No.
original 3. I even like. I know it's kind of a cardinal sin, but I do like one of the prequel movies, the third one, the
Oh, that's good boxing.
Revenge of the Sith. I did
Good
honestly.
boxing anime.
It had good boxing, good hand-to-hand combat.
Like the fights were so good in
Actually,
that movie.
Oh yeah, the
Like-
choreography was top notch with it.
Yeah.
I think that one actually is underrated, and I think it's brought down by episodes 1 and
definitely.
2 because those are
Yeah.
both fairly terrible. I'm not too big a fan of the new trilogy, and I think
This
that
existed.
it's really overhyped right now just because they are just fresh from coming out, and Disney is pretty much milking that cash cow for whatever it's worth at the moment. Which, I mean, I can't blame them because there's a lot of money to be had there. But at the same time, you
I
know,
haven't seen any
it
of them.
does kind of detract from some of its value in the
I-
hearts and minds.
Honestly,
of the
really,
public.
the only movies I've ever watched is just like movies I've watched with you guys. Cause like I don't watch movies on my own.
Yeah.
But like so pretty much all I have to talk about is like David Bowie's Labyrinth and then of course Godzilla Final Wars.
Godzilla Final War, okay.
Those
That's-
movies aren't bad. They're like entertaining. They're just like
They're
not-
entertaining because they're bad.
Yeah,
But they are okay.
would
But I
agree
think
with that.
a movie can't be bad unless it's like, well, okay, a movie can be bad, but like
I think a lot of movies are bad.
I think if it's like a Marvel movie or something, it shouldn't be judged like at the level of like Pulp Fiction or just like a really good movie, like plot wise. Like
I'm gonna judge Marvel movies because they suck.
I mean, they're entertaining though.
Yeah, you're a
And
smooth brain.
They did their purpose good.
Ben,
Uh,
they don't set out to make you question reality. They set out to entertain an audience for 2 hours,
Okay,
Yeah.
so they're still bad.
and they do that pretty successfully,
Okay,
considering
Tommy, I
they're the
didn't
most
ask you.
selling one.
You know, I have a couple opinions with Marvel movies. Personally, I was never too much into the superhero scene. And in that sense, I never really got into the Marvel movies. And I would say that for the most part, they're hit or miss. Some of them do a fairly good job. And of course, all the action set pieces are always well done. But then again, they also have millions of dollars pumped into them to make them
true.
that good.
Hundreds of
Um,
millions.
And I mean, they make good returns on that too.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see because when did Avengers come out? Quite a
That was
while
like
ago.
2000.
I want to say like 2010.
Yeah,
So it's
2010.
been going for about 10 years that the superhero movie kind of boom has been going on. So I'm interested to see. I think we're on the closing stretch of that for better or for
2012.
worse.
Yeah, I really don't know like where it's all gonna go because there hasn't been a movie like as hype as like since like the end game because I mean the second one was not very like no one was like wow it's the second one, but like the first one was like crazy, like everyone went to go see it.
Yeah, first one was.
I actually didn't see like I haven't seen a single Marvel movie in theaters. I don't think. Wait, I've seen like 2, but like I watched them other ways. Yeah, no, it was crazy. But they can't really like go as big as that unless they like. I'm really puzzled of just like to see like what they're gonna go with the series, but like. And then that kind of like era of like superhero movies is over. Like there's no hype behind any like DC movies or anything.
Yeah.
No one really talks
well,
about it
and
anymore.
DC has had a legacy of putting out some pretty mediocre products as far as the movies go.
Yeah,
That is their specialty.
they haven't made a good one since the Dark
Well,
Knight.
boys, what do you think now that the superhero boom is coming to a close? What do you think the next big trend in cinema is going to be? How do you think it's going to manifest?
I really
Foreign
don't know.
puppet films.
Foreign puppet films.
I think movies are gonna die out a little bit right now.
Yeah.
That going to be marionette
Wait,
puppets.
what do you
Really
mean?
quick, I'm sorry,
Movies are gonna die
Tommy. Is
out?
that going to be
Like,
marionette puppets?
I think
or
it's
hand
I think it's
puppets?
mostly just gonna be like
Hand
TV
puppets.
stuff.
Homemade sock puppets.
Sock
I don't know.
puppets.
I haven't been paying attention to movies recently. I don't really know.
Puppet
Because
theater.
movies
Puppet
haven't
theater's
been
coming
coming
back.
out,
There's even
Ben.
like traveling like puppet like theaters that like go from town to town.
Yeah,
Part of
we're
me
gonna return to
thinks
tradition.
that
I mean, here if we want to consider movies in like a current state, you've got like the way that Disney's done like their Mulan rollout, where you have to pay $30 to watch it on top of your $5 a month fee.
Are they
Which
really doing that?
I mean, there was a whole controversy there, which we don't need to get into, but I just think I just looked at it today. There was definitely an increase in spending on Disney Plus, so they won't release their numbers, but it is shown to be at least somewhat effective way of selling movies or selling.
In the future,
another
I
product.
think that movies are gonna be like randomly generated by computers.
AI generated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they're not
honestly,
gonna
think
be
about
good.
it.
They're just gonna be like really funny.
I think
Yes,
that with what you had mentioned, how Disney is doing their release of Mulan, I think that is going to start to be more common. And now this is all depending on how things go as far as quarantining, which that's another issue, but personally I think that we still have a little bit of a road ahead of us as far as that area goes. I believe that it's going to be a combination of digital and in-person releases, and I foresee the decline in traditional cinema that is going to the movies, and an increase. I think that there is going to be a niche that's gonna form, and I've seen this popping up. The first time I heard it, I thought it was pretty strange. I thought it was neat, but I thought it was kind of just, it's just a thing. Drive-in
You're talking about-
theaters. I think
Oh, yeah.
drive-in theaters are gonna catch on.
I mean, they had like a life in
And
the 40s and
There was a
50s and
bit.
60s,
They had a
didn't
long life.
Yeah. That's getting
But then
more
they
popular.
pretty much shut down. But I'm seeing more and more of them pop up, and there are
Where
even
have you
ones
seen a single
locally.
drive-in theater?
There was
I've
one.
been to a drive-in
There was
theater.
one locally, that not
there's
locally,
drive-in-
but they are
Exist.
they're coming back. And my theory is, as outlandish as it might seem, I think that they are going to come back, not even as really as a practical thing, but more like of a just kind of thing that you do just because it's kind of
Yeah, and I bet in
but
10
I
years
bet
we're
it's
gonna have to
kinda
start
fun.
cranking our cars again too.
Dude, I have my car has crank windows.
What do you mean?
Kid you
again,
not.
then?
My Ford Fiesta has crank windows.
A monster named Larry manifests itself through smartphones and mobile devices. Dude, this movie
Does
looks
Larry
so good.
represent the
I'm looking at-
cinematic industry?
I'm looking at IMDb because I'm trying to figure out what movies are gonna be like now that there's not as hyped things anymore. Think about the last 10 years. A lot of movies come out and they're just crazy hyped, but not anymore.
My bet would be, and to be honest, I am very partial to this, just because I really like these movies. Because I think that it's going to be a combination of two things. I think war movies for one, which again I am partial to, but given the recent success, especially off of the War One Centenary and some of the success of the films that came out then, most notably 1917, which was really darn tootin' good, if you excuse my language. That in combination with, I think there's going to be a comeback of mystery type noir films,
Oh yeah.
almost 40s style, and I think that right now
I don't think
can
this
be
is become
seen-
it's like gonna become the '60s again.
I honestly
hope.
do. I think it's going to become the
Like-
60s again. I think that it's gonna we're coming back. But you saw the success of something like Knives Out, which was also a pretty good movie. Where it was kind of a return to the whodunit kind of formula. I think we're gonna be seeing more of that, but I think it's gonna take on a more gritty. No, actually, no. I think that we're actually gonna continue with the lightheartedness that had come from in the superheroes movies. Because if you take a look at some of the superhero movies that came out before this last boom of the 10 years, a lot of them were like they were pretty gritty. The Batman movies, you have what was it? I think it was Blade is what it was called. All sorts of movies that came out then that were less lighthearted than the ones that are coming out now. I think that it's going to be a similar noir themes, but more lighthearted and less noir. That's my prediction. A combination of those two genres going forward, I think, is what's going to start dominating the cinema. Granted that the situation stays the same. However, if the other changes that I predict, which are going to take us back to the more retro era, then who knows? And it's very probable that I'm wrong on all accounts, and you can throw my ideas out the window. But only time will tell, so that's yet to be seen.
I'm looking on IMDb still, and they're making there's like a fan made like Spider-Man 4, like like the Sam Raimi like Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire.
Yeah. Oh, they're making a
fo-
fourth?
Well, it's fan made, so like
Are they-
Tobey Maguire's not gonna be in it.
Okay. But they're making of the same.
They need to get
Timeline.
Tobey Maguire back.
I watched that with Gabe yesterday, and it was like the weirdest thing ever. Like,
How old
What
is
movie?
Tobey Maguire now? He would
The
look
co- the
really weird.
third
He's like probably
Spider-Man movie.
middle-aged.
I
It's
remember
just
the only
not
movie
good.
I've watched with Tobey Maguire in is Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, if you can even count that.
Fear
Yeah, I
and
don't
Loathing
know.
in Las Vegas.
He's
yeah.
in it for like 5 seconds.
I mean, yeah, that was so weird to see him like that, but he looks so weird and funny. Are they making a Monster Hunter movie?
Why were they... Oh, that's gonna be
That's gonna
terrible.
be terrible.
Oh,
I think
Oh,
I saw
okay.
something about that, and like they like leaked the script, and like I think it was like I mean I'm trusting 4chan.com on this one, but it was like
You shouldn't do that.
like some.
Ever.
I haven't played much Monster Hunter, but I know people who have, and I know people who I know would definitely be mad about it.
Yeah.
No.
But like it's like some like portal like opens up in the real world, and, like brings the
Oh,
monsters from Monster
God.
Hunter into it. And,
Alright.
like okay, already it's bad, but like I don't know, it just went downhill from there. It's
I've
just-
come-
I couldn't read much of it because it was just so terrible.
Movies
come to
based
a
on video
conclusion.
games should not.
I figured out like what the next like series of like hyped movies are gonna be.
What's it gonna be?
Well, first of all, sequels.
It's gonna be TikTok compilations.
Yeah.
We're gonna
So-
see them on the big screen. Now we're gonna see those videos where it's just like a bunch of like fart sound effects over old vines.
Yeah. So
Like we're
come,
gonna see them on the big screen.
come 2021, there's gonna be a new
4K.
Jurassic World movie, a sequel to Venom, a Top Gun movie, Top Gun Maverick. I don't know what that's about, but like
Top Gun 2.
I guess they're doing a Top Gun thing.
I wonder if it's a remake or-
Another like Minions.
And like
Despicable
another
Me
40
movie.
years, they're gonna make another Top Gun, and it's gonna be like Tom Cruise and like life support.
Yeah. And he's
One
gonna be
more
like he's gonna be
flight.
like in like prison, like locked up, with a straight jacket on.
Silence of
Talking
the
about
Lambs type thing. Like
Scientology.
the muzzle mask.
Yeah. They're doing-
Yeah.
they're doing-
He
I
is
think-
the big Scientologist.
I think
How about
the movie industry right now is making a lot of money off of like remakes, like because they're doing another Space Jam movie, they're just like taking things from like 10, 20 years ago and just like remaking them.
Yeah, they're just gonna stop making new movies.
I am
They're just gonna
shocked.
keep making like
Honestly.
sequels or remasters of old ones.
I am shocked that they are still able to make money off of remakes, just because they're consistently just
Well,
terrible.
because like the sheep that like follow all these movies are like, wow, this is like a movie from before, but now it's this one.
Well,
Because they'll just watch anything.
I guess the thought process is that if you see a movie that you always really liked, and then you see that they're remaking it, you probably know that it's going to be terrible, but your mind is like, well, I should probably see it anyways, just in
Yeah.
case
What
it's worth anything. But then it never is, so you're just giving them money, and it's, ugh. I hate it.
That's why
I
you
hate it.
pirate movies.
Did you hear they were gonna make an Avatar: The Last Airbender movie? And like,
Who comes
and
up
then
with
they,
this
they,
stuff?
they,
Did that
they
already.
dipped. Like the creators like were like,
People
no,
who want to
this is
make
gonna be
money and
awful.
are out of touch with.
Yeah. Honestly,
with
I'm
communities.
predicting in like 10 to 20 years, like Hollywood's just gonna be like a giant like money laundering scheme.
Yeah.
Like
it
modern
already
art,
is.
you know.
There's already a couple schemes.
I'm about to say, I
The,
think
the main
Hollywood,
the main
that's
source
also
of income
stuff.
for Hollywood actors is human trafficking.
Okay, well.
Let's not go into this.
Okay, yeah, I know.
Let's not go. We don't want to get
Yeah.
put
This
on
is
the watch
movies,
list.
not.
No,
You
but
know.
just like right
they're
now
not
they're
those
making
type
money
of
off
movies,
like
Mowgli.
historical movies and like just remakes and stuff. Just people
Yeah,
want to relive
I'm-
the past.
I saw a couple recent remakes. I did see Mulan. And it was fine.
You saw me? Did you pay for it?
I didn't pay for it.
Did
I
you get on
didn't pirate it, guys. Don't
freemulan.com?
worry, I did not pirate it. I would never commit such a felony.
Free no freemulan.com. Every
Disney's
company
gonna
releases
send
a
the
movie
secret
free.
police to your house, Tommy.
They every company like releases it free on like a website. Just look up like the movie
I don't think the
title and
companies
then
do
.com.
that. Why would they do that?
Because how are the employees gonna watch it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Go to free.
They don't wanna pay for it.
No, because when
and
they're
then
making
click on
it,
all
like
the
they
download
get to
links,
see it
and you
being
get all
made,
the
so
free
they already
movies.
know what the movie's like, so
Yeah,
they don't
no,
need to watch it.
Yeah, if the movie link doesn't work, just click on all the ads. That's how it
Going
Click
goes.
on all the-
freemulan.com right now.
Yeah.
I need a virus on my phone.
Virus.com.
We have detected a
I don't think it
virus.
exists.
Please download this
Please
VPN to
download.
delete the virus.
Oh my god. That's the worst. Why are all those like schemes so bad? Like,
Because
hey,
they're
whenever
supposed
you
to get people who don't understand the internet,
yeah, whenever you
which
got in
are
a good
people who are gonna
scam,
fall for this.
No.
like people are like they're just like, oh, buy me gift cards so like I can transfer money into your account. Like, no, I'm not gonna do. Why would I ask for money if I had to pay you to get money? Like, why would I be able to afford gift cards?
You have to pay $20,000 to clear up legal fees.
Yeah.
So I can send you my.
Go ahead, give me $500 and I can ship you the diamonds.
You know what-
just
Dude,
You know what'd
I
be a
just
really
need
good
this
scheme?
small fee.
Like
For
posing
shipping.
as like the IRS or something, and then like doing like a fake
that
Zoom
people
court.
legitimately fall for that. I had a distant relative who fell for that IRS scam,
Oh,
and she was
come
like,
on.
she got down on her. She was like, guys, feel bad for him. Like, dude, you fell for it.
Yeah, it's not my
Dude.
fault.
What an idiot!
Man, I like you could just be like, all right, you got to go to court, like do this and this, and like you end up like having to pay a fee, like like that would be such a good scheme. Like you get like a fake court together, and like you just like have this person like this whole fake court.
Fake court.
Or you give them like a fake lawyer and stuff. That'd be
I don't
so
think that would be worth their time.
You just make a fake government.
Yeah, and then they have to go to fake prison, and like oh, here's your bail, and then they pay the bail, and it just like goes into your bank account. Is that
What if that's the world we're living in right now?
that's like an elaborate dude?
All
what if-
these
yeah,
movies that we're talking about, they're all
it's just one big
pointless.
scam.
They're all
Yeah.
fickle. They don't really care about us. They're
You
constructs.
know, they all exist. They're all alternate world lines.
Yeah, dude, it would be really funny. That's such a good scam though. You could just like, especially like now, like you don't even have to like try. You just be like, all right, so we're gonna do like a Zoom courtroom, and then you just like get like a person, like, oh, this is the judge and whatever. Like you could just like, I mean, the only like fault would be like the person has to get a lawyer, but like, I just feel like that would just be such a good scheme, if you put it together right.
That would be it. I think it would be. I think it would cost too much money than you would gain. I think you'd have to pull it off a lot of times to get yourself back in the black.
Maybe, but it would be funny.
It would be funny. That's true.
And would that be illegal to do?
I'm pretty sure that there would be a great number of illegal things involved in that.
No,
I think you're full clearance. Go ahead and start.
All right.
I know.
Let's see.
No, I'll
What
tell you
about
what.
TV shows?
A movie that I'm a fan of and just watched for the either second or third time. I think third time. A couple nights ago. And it's the movie that I watch whenever I just want to feel bad. You know when you have you ever had that music that you listen to or something that you watch when you just watch it just to be all emotional about it and be like, dang.
You're just too happy, and you're like, I need
something to bring myself down.
Yeah.
I just need a real
I
downer.
watched Spider-Man 3.
It
It makes me lose all faith in humanity. It's so bad.
It was Schindler's List.
What?
Kid you not. That movie, dude. If you have not seen that movie, it's on
Not
Netflix
seen
right
it.
now. That movie is dang. It's got Qui-Gon Jinn in it. That is Liam Neeson.
I don't think so.
And it's that's a film and a half there.
Yeah.
Quite saddening, but also just overall like a good movie. And the ending is just the ending. I don't know if any of you boys have seen that movie. That's a movie that's
haven't.
not the type of movie you watch with the boys. That's the type of movie you watch alone on a night that you have, like, it's a long movie. It's like a 3 hour and 15-minute movie. This is an endeavor. You have to sit down and be prepared.
3 hours and 15
Oh yeah, it ain't a short one. This is a sizable movie.
All right.
So that would be my current top suggestion, only behind my favorite movies of all time being The Lord of the Rings. But there's so much that I could get into that I'm not even going to waste our time
Oh
on
wait,
it.
we should talk about Lord of the Rings.
Well,
It's-
ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to waste your time on it.
Wait, but like
Get
not
back
like
to
the
it.
intricate thing. Just like it's like what's wrong with Lord of the Rings? Like what were the problems with that movie? Because like they were
yeah.
pretty damn good, and like
they were
I think
good.
they're some of the best like interpretations of literature ever.
I have
I
a few
got my
problems.
right.
Having watched those movies quite a number of times.
But they weren't all just exclusively the audiobooks.
I would say my primary issue is the theatrical cut. If you're not too learned in the ways of the Lord of the Rings movies, there is the director's cut, which contains like an extra hour of content per movie, and then there's the theatrical cut. They had to cut a lot of it down, that way it would be a reasonable time to be within the movie theater. If you're going to watch the movies, watch the director's cut. I cannot stress that enough. Watch the director's cut. My issue with the actual movie itself, I would say that there are a few bits of it. Really quick, for the next 30 seconds, I am going to be spoiling a part of the book that does not appear in the movies.
All right. I'm gonna. Here's gonna be a huge like a flashing thing on the screen with like a siren sound effects and everything.
Ben,
It's about
just like
the-
post really bright flashing lights and like really loud like 90s like techno hardcore music.
Yeah.
with just numbers and letters flashing on the screen at random.
Yeah.
Let's do that really fast now.
It seems like a health and
like
safety
it's
violation.
a seizure warning, but it's like flashing like super fast.
Warning.
Ben, have you seen the GIF where it's like, "This is not a joke, you've won," and it's like the flashing blue and yellow?
Yeah.
Put that up, but like slow it down really slow, so like it doesn't give people epilepsy.
So this Okay, here it comes. You ready?
Spoiler warning! Spoiler
Starting
warning!
now. The end of the Returning of the King. There is no
Returning of the
the Returning of the King. The end of the Return of the King. There is no representation of the Scouring of the Shire, which is one of the most important parts of the story. So the fact that it's left out, what's up with that? Because you wanted a happy-go-lucky ending? No. Scouring the Shire would have been kick-ass. You see slave hobbits and like...
Dude, that is probably why.
Okay,
What?
so spoiler
wait,
over.
what? Okay.
Now my other issue, and this is the last issue I'll touch on for now, because I'll let the other gentleman give some time to speak on it. I would say that there are some moments where they try and make it comedic, when overall they keep it very serious, and I would say that those moments just feel really out of place and are just kind of like... And some of them are kind of crude sometimes too, and it's just like, it's just unnecessary. Just doesn't fit. It's just not good. Also,
Yeah.
Elijah Wood, who plays Frodo, I like it, but I think he's too pouty. I think he's too pouty. He doesn't seem as Hobbit-esque as the others. There isn't as much of a decline. It feels like he was kind of pouty to begin with. But these are minor complaints when compared to the just potency of quality that is present within those movies. If you haven't seen them, keep in mind the director's cut. Watch them as soon as you finish listening to this. So, boys, I know most of you here present have seen the movies. What are some of your guys' issues with them?
I didn't really have any issues. I just sometimes it was just like kind of goofy and it really distracted from like the seriousness of scenes. Like, and obviously they were just like that's like how like movies were back then. Like if you look at a lot of like those movies that took
That's how
around.
movies are now.
Like, early
you know, all of
2000s.
the superhero movies we were talking about earlier, yes, they're lighthearted, but they also have a lot of, like, this is tension moment and now funny.
Oh yeah,
So,
like
I don't think
it
it's
just
changed.
yeah. I mean, I'm just talking about like whenever like Gandalf's like, don't put on the ring. It's really bad for you. But it's like the camera's like an inch away from his face. It's like it's kind of hard to take you seriously whenever you're. Just,
Oh,
like, doing
okay.
that.
You mean the like not
Just-
necessarily the moments where they're intentionally trying to be funny, but the moments
Yeah.
there's some moments
just-
within it where unintentionally it's kind of like that's kind of just cheesy.
Keep it secret.
Oh my goodness! You know,
Yeah.
my favorite moment of that is if any of you remember back in like I don't know, like well, for us we all had iPads back in elementary school, and we could go into photo booth, and there was one particular lens, one option that it gave you, that being the X-ray, and it made everything like black and kind of like an off greenish like white.
Yeah.
So there's a
I remember taking
scene.
pictures of that.
in-
Like,
yeah,
dude,
I was
I'm
like,
a
whoa, look at
photographer.
this.
What about it?
There's a scene in the Fellowship of the Ring, when Frodo looks into the mirror of Galadriel, and Galadriel has a moment where she like is tempted to basically take the ring, and it is the most goofy looking bullshit I have ever seen. The effects are terrible. Ben, if you can find a picture of it, just put it in here. It's awful.
Not dark, but beautiful and terrible.
It is like the
Ben, if you can
It is
find
terrible.
an MP4 file of the entirety of the Lord of the Rings
Just
movies.
slot it in
Just
at
Oh
the
my
end.
god.
here.
The world is changed. I feel it in the water.
No. I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna like in the yeah. I'm gonna download all. That would take so. That would take like so. Like I would be at my desk for like 3 days straight. Like not 3 days. Like 24 times
Ben,
3
also,
days.
can
The
you play
director's
Dan
cut is
Daniel
24
right
hours,
after that?
or not 24,
Yeah.
14 hours.
Yes. Compare and contrast. Watch the theatrical cut, then watch the director's cut.
No,
What
no.
what is that? How long is
Then
it?
watch the
Director's-
version on YouTube where it's like
director's
the
then
it's
theatrical.
watch the version where it's the Lord of the Rings, but every time they take a step, Sam is like, "It's the furthest I've ever gone." That's a real thing. It's like 9 hours too. Like you skip like halfway through, and there's like it's like a big like important battle, and Frodo takes like a single step, and it's like Sam in the wheat
This
field.
is
Like it's
the
the furthest
furthest
I've ever
I've
gone.
home.
Then they turn around, and it's like another like half second.
Oh, it's so funny.
Some battle, and it's like this is the furthest I've ever gone.
Man, I remember watching this like review on YouTube. And this is like old YouTube. This is like back when like I have no idea. It's pretty old YouTube. It's like whenever there used to be like film reviewers and they just like used to like put in clips of like other movies.
The ones that like rip off of, like Nostalgia Critic and
Doug
AVGN.
Yeah. Well, this guy was actually
What
pretty
were they
funny and,
thinking?
like, unique. I don't know. I really liked it. But it was just he reviewed like all of the Lord of the Rings movies, and just like reviewing the movies takes so long, just like going through them. Like I'm pretty sure each video is like an hour long, just like to put it in the terms how long the Lord of the Rings movies are.
They're pretty lengthy. Not much I can say for certain.
Yeah, they are. I have marathoned them more than once, and
Naturally.
it is. Ooh, I'll tell you what. It's do not watch them all at once. I would say the best way to experience them, if you do intend to watch them, is watch one movie a day. Watch The Fellowship, Two Towers, and then The Return of the King. And by God, by everything that is holy, stay far, far away from the Hobbit interpretations.
What's so bad with the Hobbit, anyways? Why does everyone hate
The
that?
Hobbit movies are terrible. So the Hobbit
Are the
book,
books are the books bad, or
it's
what
not.
is it?
No, that's the issue. There's one book. The Hobbit is just one book.
Hobbit is a really,
One
really
book.
good book.
It's a great book, fantastic
I
book.
love that
It's
book. Personally, I like it more than the Lord of the Rings books, but that's my opinion. Obviously,
The
I don't
Hobbit is
know if you would share that.
The Hobbit is weird. The Hobbit is definitely more geared towards children. It's not
Yeah, it's like a
nearly as
storybook.
like dark and messed up as Lord of the Rings gets. But that is not to say that it's low quality. It is phenomenal. Now,
Yeah.
what? There's actually an interesting story behind this. They were pretty much forced to make The Hobbit into 3 movies. It should have been 2 movies. At a stretch, it should have been 2 movies. And The Hobbit is one book. The Lord of the Rings is divided up into 3. The Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers, and The Return of the King. The Hobbit is like the size of one of those, if even. Probably
not
shorter.
even.
Yeah,
not even. It's
Yeah.
shorter. It's
shorter than...
If you look at
each
the
and every
box set,
single
it's
one of
like it's noticeably smaller.
So, The Lord of the Rings was divided up into 3 movies. This, like, expansive, over 1,000-page manuscript. And The Hobbit was divided up into 3 movies. And they were bad. The first one was passable. The first one showed,
The first
like,
one was
okay,
enjoyable.
the first one was I liked parts of the first one. There were elements of the first one that I really liked. The second and
Who's reading
third were just awful. The changes they made from it was to make money. That's all it was. Is they wanted to
Yeah.
make money like they did off of Lord of the Rings. Because of how
That they
terrible
did.
they were, it's I think they're called like the Tolkien administration, who are the ones who have all the intellectual rights now that J.R.R. Tolkien, the writer, and his son have now died. They are the people who basically own it, and they are super protective of it now. So there has to be all sorts of things. I remember I think it was Amazon was wanting to do an interpretation of the Silmarillion and turn it into a TV show. Which, God, I have no idea how they would do that. Especially because this administration is making them follow the book damn near page by page. That's how terrible the Hobbit movies were. Now, again, the book, phenomenal. And if you want to experience the book, in like the 1980s, they made an animated Hobbit movie.
That movie's not
and
that
it
bad.
is golden. It is solid gold.
It's watchable.
It is beautiful. It is absolutely amazing. It is the most corny thing you will ever watch, but it is just fantastic.
Yeah.
I remember watching that in my grandma's basement on VHS. It is like that kind of top tier content.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen that. I've only seen the first Hobbit movie. I never saw the second or third one. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
it
I'll watch the
was-
first one. And I did watch the first one a couple times because I own it on disc, and I don't hate it.
Yeah, actually, I think there's quite a few things in the first one that are really good. I like who they cast for Bilbo himself. Martin Freeman, I think his name is.
Yeah.
He did a good job. He did a really good job.
Yeah.
Ian Holm was the guy that they had in the Lord of the Rings, and they actually, you can definitely see where one leads to another. They look similar enough that it doesn't take away from continuity.
Yeah. Did they even in the Lord of the Rings? Did they even have, or the Hobbit? Did they even have like that big battle at the end?
Oh yeah,
Like that.
that was like the whole movie. That was like the whole third movie, to the point where it was just like, are we done yet? It
Well,
was
Like, how did it go in the book? I don't really remember.
In the interest of time, in the book, in the movie they focus a lot more on like big CG action shots and this weird ass rivalry between Thorin, who is like, you know,
between the bad guys and the
between
good
the bad guys and the good guys, and it's all really it's
Wasn't, like,
it's
a big
none of
war
it.
to any
It doesn't have the
character.
complexities. I said The Hobbit is more of a kid's book. Even then, I think it's a general trend in fantasy where you can even look at The Hobbit and see that it has an actual complex narrative and it takes itself seriously. It's not some weird ass power trip. It's high fantasy. It's not power fantasy. And I think that they went way out of the window with that. Because there are it was just a mess. And I think a lot of what Tolkien was going for when he wrote it was lost in the movies, just because they wanted to have good guy versus bad guy. They didn't want to have any of the complexities, which in the book it kind of is, but then again it really isn't, because you have even parties that would be considered good guys, end quote, against each other in some places, and it's a lot to get into, but if you want to experience The Hobbit in a good way, just read the book. It's a short book.
Yeah.
It's not like it's going to take you forever. And it's well worth the read. Same thing with The Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings are great books. A lot of people have a hard time getting used to just the writing style because it was written back in the 60s. So it's old, but definitely worth a read.
So wasn't just like the whole thing about like the big like the one orc with like the weird sword arm?
Yeah,
Wasn't that guy just like not in the book at all?
Yeah,
Like, wasn't
he
wasn't
had.
that orcs
There's
just not there?
nowhere the pale orc bullshit. Yeah, it
Yeah, wasn't
total
so-
construct.
So it was just like them fighting and then like them not fighting.
Pretty much with with plenty of filler.
Yeah.
In the book, correct me if I'm wrong, Ty. It's been a while since I've read it. Bilbo gets knocked out like at the beginning, doesn't he? He's not even conscious for it. Like he's not, and I don't remember if they portray that in the movie or not. I watched it whenever it came out and never bothered watching it again. But there's just so much. The book is more focused on the build-up and the aftermath. It's all about like getting in the situation and then dealing with the consequences of it. In the movie, again, they want more direct conflict.
Wait, was there like a battle like of like the 5 like armies or like
Yeah, there was in both.
Okay, so there was like Smog and then like I don't know.
I don't know if Smog doesn't count as part of the battle because the whole thing, the battle is over the heaps of treasure.
They fight Smog, Smog's gone, and then something happens. I don't know.
So basically, the dwarves lay claim to the treasure, but then also the men of Lake Town, it's the nearby settlement, who actually technically killed the dragon, are like, we want our share of that. And the elves, who they were imprisoned from earlier, are like, we want some little bit of change as well. Goblins as well, which came earlier. So all sorts of different influences from throughout the book, which is actually it's really nice in the narrative of the book, just because you see that the things that happened along the way mattered. It wasn't like you were just reading and it's like, oh, this happens, then this happens. And it's not like there were plenty of independent events, but they all had consequences, which I don't think that's illustrated as nearly as well in the movies. Despite their ginormous budget, I just think that it's honestly hard to blame them because they were pretty much required to make 3 movies. Because again, it always comes down to money, and you get that. But they had too much time, so they couldn't really. The stuff they consolidated, I almost feel like it would have been better at expanding. But then the stuff they expanded was either stuff that really didn't need to be expanded or stuff that pertained more to the Lord of the Rings story than it did the actual Hobbit story, and wasn't relevant to the context of the Hobbit itself. But in the end, I think, and then they just made up some of it, which just doesn't make sense to me. In the end, I think they were given too much time and they were given too much time as far as screen time they had to fill up, and almost undoubtedly too little time to actually make the movies decent. And also, again, it's not like they're running an independent company. They have to conform to what they are told, and in the end, that's what they have to do. They're employees. They have to do what they're hired to do. So I think it was a whole combination of different things that kind of just led to it being a shit show. But yeah, certainly that didn't happen with Lord of the Rings. So again, if you're interested at all in that or any of the other movies we've mentioned, definitely give them a look. We're mentioning them because they are absolutely fantastic movies, all the movies we mentioned today. And go ahead, we're still on YouTube right now, so we have a pretty little comment section down there. How about you tell us some of your favorite movies and what you think the future of cinema is going to be?
Right next to me is Smeagol from Lord of the Rings, and he's telling me to end the podcast
right now.
Yep.
Damn, what a guy.
Dang.
I was gonna do like a
make
Smeagol
sure.
impression and be like but I just like didn't feel like it.
he's crouched down next to you. He's under the desk. Well, ladies and gentlemen,
Well,
thank you
yeah.
very much for watching, and we'll see you
Alright,
next time.
Here's an explosion effect in 3, 2, 1.